This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of Wonderful World. In the last episode, we finished up Chang and Carlos's story, or at least for the most part. Couldn't get everything on Chang, as I'm missing like one of the bad endings, I assume, but I'll figure that out later. I just want to go on to the next thing. I think I might have, because of the way this game sets it up, as soon as you earn the S ring, it seems to stick it on that. I bet getting this other gray one is I had to have like a different path or a bad path on either Kang's, probably on Kang's, to get it. So I don't know if I can do that in this playthrough or if I have to replay through it or maybe beat the game. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those games, if you beat it, it lets you, after you get the ending, come back and redo old missions or something like that, maybe modify the ending slightly. But anyway, and we also did Jimmy and Carlos's. Couldn't get him an A, but I think or can't get both of them S's, but I think that has something to do with like later on in the story, or we have to unlock something else to unlock it, but for now we can stick with it as is, and I think that's fine. So anyway, let's do Li Wen's story, Strange Teacher. I've thought about changing the voice of Li Wen to something else, because I don't know if I'm feeling the fake French accent I've been doing. I could go with my try and choose Southern or Irish accent on that. I don't know. Now we'll just. The last class of the day was art. I pushed open the door to the classroom and I was shocked by what I saw. What was happening? The room that usually had only a dozen people in it was almost full. It was like a scene from a beach in the middle of summer. There would be enough easels for everyone. Just when I was wondering whether I should leave or go study, I saw Jing wave me over from the front row. Why are there so many people today? I sat down at the seat Jing had saved for me. You really don't know anything, do you? Miss Liu is on her maternity leave, so we have a new substitute today. Somebody saw him early in the office and posted his pictures on the school BBS. He looks so handsome. Oh, is Jing supposed to be female? Or it could be a dude. I'm not judging. I looked around and only then did I realize how much all the newcomers were girls. Why was Rocky here? What is the doy doing here? Maybe he's into other guys. I took my phone out and tried to log into BBS. I found myself unknowingly imagining what the new handsome teacher would look like while waiting for the page to load. Well, a well-made pink shirt, rolled-up sleeves, top button unbuttoned, pale, full of skin, impeccable face with a side. The Wi-Fi signal wasn't very strong and I couldn't look for the long time. Then the front door of the room was slowly pushed open. With everyone standing in, the new teacher slowly walked across to the podium and softly wrote down his name on the blackboard. Wen Zhaoren. Oh. I'll be teaching. How did I just did gave him like a really deep voice in it. I'll be teaching an art class for the seniors starting today. I looked him up and down and I noticed that this Mr. Ren was wearing the flip-flops to class. His ensemble also included a pair of casual pants with the legs rolled up, a grey t-shirt and a wrinkled jacket. Not just that, his chin suggested that he hadn't shaved for days. I turned to my side and whispered to Jing, "How is this old man handsome?" Jing ignored me. I looked up and realized that the teacher was staring right at me. Oh no, he must have overheard me. Suddenly, Rocky raised his hand and asked loudly, "Mr. Wen, how old are you? And do you have a girlfriend?" Rocky was asking that? That's kind of weird. Well, like I said, maybe he's into other men. Who knows? The entire class erupted into a loud murmur. Everyone stared at the teacher even more intensely. Thank you, Rocky, for getting me out of trouble. Isn't Rocky the same guy who, like, you know, tried to beat you at tennis to get away your 30 chocolate milks? Yeah, you're thinking that, whatever. Mr. Ren slowly took off his jacket and laid it on the back of the chair next to him. 35. The girls immediately began to whisper to each other. His response certainly had to treat everyone even more. Does that? I wonder if that. Well, never mind. I was going to ask something, but that seems kind of dumb to ask anyway. Rocky, however, didn't seem to be satisfied with the answer. Mr. Wen ignored the commotion in the room and took a banana-shaped statue out of the accessory cabinet. People with an easel began to prepare their paper. The ones without one took out their sketching pads. The class was going to be over soon. Near the end of the class, Mr. Ren said he'd like to pick an assistant for the class. Oh, excuse me. Anybody who was interested could stand up and nominate him or herself. However, he would need to check his or her sketch. Jing stood up. How brave. Mr. Wen watched over and picked up the sketch. He shook his head and tore it into two halves. Ouch. Way to teach the world to the kids. And Rocky stood up from his seat. I stood up from my seat too. Why? I thought you didn't care about it. Anyway, and then the bell rang. Jing was supping, and I was completely in shock too. Not only did Mr. Ren tear her sketch, he's even said to her, "Are you serious? Did someone seriously just draw something like this? I will not tolerate this kind of thing in my class. We were just some regular high school students. We were not in an art school. Are you serious?" Rocky jumped up in front of the teacher. I tried to stop him, but it's too late. Rocky punched Mr. Ren right in the face. Mr. Ren, however, didn't react, despite having been hit by a student. Yeah, isn't that like big? Well, whatever. Although it's like the student can hit the teacher, and he can write him up and all the other stuff, but you can't have the teacher hit the student because it's even worse from that perspective. He simply gave Rocky a glance and walked into the room without saying a word. Rocky, he was always so self-righteous. The only thing more important in his life might be his ball games. Ball games. Phrasing. I bet if the bell had rung and the class had been over, he wouldn't have bothered. And he would have gone off to play basketball. After that, Mr. Ren never came back to class. Maybe somebody filed a complaint about him, or maybe... I had always had the feeling that he didn't look like he wanted to be a teacher. That next art teacher always dressed impeccably well. He was also incredibly dull. We win. So we're helping... God's helping her with the thing because she wants to keep the teacher around, apparently? Whoa. Well, that was a lot of options. I assume in this case it's just us putting in a specific order like our previous one. So, all right, let's go with the worst ones first if we can figure that out. Seat. So obviously, obviously to get the best response, we need to be noticed too. Maybe that keeps them in school. But I'm trying to think what order would make reasonable sense to get a bad ending on this. Maybe, oh yeah, because if Rocky stands up, he gets mad and punches him. So if we can keep him standing up, then... Oh no, what would that... I'm just trying to figure out how to... This seems nonsensical. I wonder if this one would work. Well, I guess we could do the S rank first. And then work our way down. Yeah, we'll just stick with it, see what happens. Mr. Ren tore up Rocky's sketch and said, "Why don't you bring this to the next class next time so everyone can practice with it?" Rocky's face suddenly turned into the brightest red I have ever seen. A minute ago, he had been acting like the king of the world. What did he draw exactly? You, He punched Mr. Ren right in the face. Mr. Ren, however, didn't raise respect to me. Okay, that's, he simply gave Rocky a glance, put down my sketch, and walked out of the room without saying a word. Since then, Mr. Ren never came back. Okay, that's repeating. So some of these seem to be the same, just with slightly modified dialogue. For the most part. Okay. So that's just one bad. Yeah, I didn't even check to see how many bad endings, or how many endings, so we got 6. So we got one of the bad endings. Okay. Let's try another one. Let's see. Let's see what we can do with this situation. Let's see. Shook it. So if he tears it up first, yeah, if we just move, I forgot that you can just like kind of move something. You probably, with these single ones, you can probably just move one thing. It'll change like the whole event. So let's go with that one. And go. Agents are go. Jing was supping and I was completely in shock too. Okay, so serious. Are you serious? Are you seriously serious? Seeing Jing cry like that, I couldn't control my anger. Mr. Ren, you're way out of line. You need to apologize to Jing. Mr. Ren gave me a glance and picked up my sketch. Rocky stood up from his seat. Hey, did you hear? You need to apologize. Mr. Ren didn't pay him any attention, so Rocky jumped up in front of him and punched Mr. Ren right in the face. Okay, that's repeating. Well, that's, like I said, a lot of these are repeating themselves, so... it's ball games. Yeah, we've got that response as well. Never came back to class, and he killed himself later on with the charcoal bit, probably. Probably. It's hard to say. Okay, so that one's that ending. So let's try that again. Let's see. Alright. Should be, I don't know how many more bad endings we've got, but should try to get some more odd endings or whatever. Let's try. Let's try. Yeah, let's try this one. This sounds good. Mr. Ren tore up my sketch, Mr. Ren tore up my sketch, and even said to me, "I'll not tolerate this kind of thing in my class." Apparently I suck too. Jing was frightened and she sat back down. So, so she was like freaked out about what happened to me, that she's like, "No, I was in complete shock and my nose started to feel stuffy. Was that really necessary?" You idiot! Rocky loudly jeered. "The bastard! I made a face of him." Oh well, he didn't leave class. It's just tolerable at best. So. Alright, well, obviously we can do... Actually, can we do letters, or do we have to get an S rank? It looks like we have to get an S rank on this, or at least a higher rank, huh? To get to the next step. Or at least better than B, anyway, so... Alright. Let's, I was just trying to see what requirements are required to get the, better ranks. So, let's see, have I tried this combination yet? Yeah, let's see if that one does anything. Sweet. Mr. Jing was subbing, and I was completely in shock too. Not only Mr. Ren tear up her sketch, even said, okay, that's you're repeating. Just regular high school students. We're not in art school. Boring. Rocky picked up his basketball from under his seat, casually walked out to the class, and disappeared in the after-class crowd that was filling the hallway. Other people were leaving as well, while talking with each other about what had just happened. Nobody ever mentioned picking an assistant ever again, either. I went with Jing on the track field and told her dozens of jokes until she finally felt a little better. That old man, not only did he dress terribly, his temper was even worse. Wow, for a guy who even killed himself too, it's like, you know, never mind. How could the school hire such a person to be a teacher? Yeah, I don't know. Nope, not enough to get a post, so... Unless there's some other mini thing I'm missing. Nope, okay. Unless Jimmy's supposed to have an S and Carlos is supposed to have an A for theirs, but anyway. Alright, let's get that S then, I guess. Maybe some things require S rank out of all of them. Okay. Let's try that again. Alright, let's see. Because I think this might be... Yeah, this makes sense for an S rank just because Rocky would have stood up before the bell rang, so that way he doesn't punch him. Because obviously Louis for punching getting punched or something like that. So that should set up for the S rank. We're repeating ourselves. Hilarious laugh. St. Jean Carlet. Okay, she said that before. Sketch up my book. Boring! Yeah, we got that. People were leaving as well. There are fewer people left in the room. Okay. I collected my stuff into my backpack and ready to leave. You stay and clean up the room. What? I stopped. What? I stopped what I was doing and looked at Mr. Wen in disbelief. He handed my sketch back to me. After all, you're my assistant from this course now. He turned away and walked back to the front of the classroom. I then realized that everyone who was still in the room was staring at me. Everyone looked like they were gawking at a circus monkey on the street. What the hell? I had no intention of being a freaky assistant to that guy. Jing put her arm around my shoulder. Congratulations! Let me buy you some dinner sometime, you poor kid. Haha. Burst out laughing. Well, whatever. Haha. Now so S rank is her becoming his assistant. Oh, but that's what we need. S rank to get to the next post or whatever. So this is gonna be interesting where this story goes. But anyway, let's open up those letters. New message. In the alley. In the alley. Tennis. Okay. Anyway. might as well go straight into the next one, I guess, while we're here. So, in the alley, huh? I'm Li Wen, a senior at Jingan High School. Today, the new art teacher assigned me as his assistant for the class, so I had to stay after class and clean up the art classroom. I tried to sneak a few peeks at the strange teacher while I was reluctantly mopping the floor. Ha ha. He was looking over the sketches that had been left in the room one by one, and then throwing them in the trash. Wow, what an asshole. I mean, you shouldn't... You need to be strict with people, because otherwise they won't learn. But there's a way... I think there's a way to go about being strict than just ripping shit up, you know? Like, some people respond to that well, and will, like, be so mad that you did that they'll try to prove you wrong. But a lot of people will just give up. Although, is that because we as a society are a little bit more where emotions on our sleeves? Hard to say. Anyway, it was just the two of us in the room, neither of us talking. Hey, W, how was your first day? It was my homeroom teacher. Oh. Hey, W, how was your first day? It was my homeroom teacher, Miss Yang, who burst in the room and broke the silence. She said hello to me and held on to Mr. Ren's arm like a little girl. He didn't look that hot from his pic thing, and I'm not attracted to men, but it was just like, he didn't look that attractive. Like, there's some people you can kind of, without being attracted to that sex or whatever, you can kind of see, like, oh, I can see them being handsome. But then there's other people who are like, I do not see that. According to what I heard from Mr. Jing, Mr. and Miss Yang went way back. It was also Miss Yang who had recommended Mr. Wen for the new vacant teacher position. The beautiful Miss Yang was also to be notoriously hard to get, and many male teachers in the school had allegedly been turned down by her. Was she involved with Mr. Wen? Well, Mr. Wen is trying to remember his wife, so no. He's one of those people that'll never forget his first love and probably will never go back after that. I grabbed the trash can and deliberately left the room until that right person comes by anyway. When I got back, there was no one there anymore. Someone appeared to have already replaced the barrel for the water dispenser too. It seemed that I could finally go home. Yay! I was starting to get dark when I finally finished cleaning the classroom. I was walking out to the school gate. Wait, dark? How long were you in there? Because don't Japanese schools, like, leave, like, early in the day, like, around, like, 3 o'clock or something like that? Or are they... No, wait, no. Japanese schools are different, because in American schools, we go there early and we leave early. Japanese schools, I think they go to school, like, around 9 or 10, and then they get out about 5 or something like that, I think. It's been forever since I studied Japanese schools and stuff like that. It started to get dark when I finally finished cleaning the classroom. I walked out of the school gate and noticed Mr. Ren was walking not too far in front of me, going in the same direction. That was strange. I thought he'd left a while ago. I didn't want to talk to him, so I stayed behind at a distance, quietly watching his back. Such a bad-tempered and terribly dressed man. How exactly did he become a teacher again? Before I knew it, Mr. Ren had walked into the dark alley that led to my place. However, as soon as I stepped into the alley myself, I suddenly felt that something was wrong, and I immediately backed out. Mr. Ren had been stopped by 2 men, one in front of him and the other behind him. The one facing my direction was wearing a tank top. He flashed a pocket knife in Mr. Ren's face. Nope, got muggers. I hid behind the corner, tried to peek around it. Mr. Ren took out his wallet and handed it over without any resistance. That's usually what they suggest you do. That was smart, I thought, better safe than sorry. The tank top guy fiddled with the wallet for a while, then slammed it down to the ground. 20! Do you think that's a fucking bagger? Punched Mr. Ren in the face. Mr. Ren stumbled back and bumped into the guy behind him. He was still not resisting. The tank top guy placed his knife on Mr. Ren's face. You're smart! Give me all your money! Judging from the look on his face, maybe that 21 really was all Mr. Ren had. We were too far away from the main street and there was no one else around who could help. I suddenly had an idea. I took my racket out of my bag and grabbed a tennis ball. Oh, that's a good idea. Jesus, well, teenagers, right? This is the time to test the results of all my deadly practice. Ball toss, backswing, please hit the target, please! The ball was flying at the speed of 180 kilometers per hour. A gust of wind suddenly swept by. The ball was thrown off its path by the wind. It missed the target. Instead, it hit the back of Mr. Ren's. Why are some of the bad things almost hilarious, really, when you think about it? Mr. Ren fell down to the ground with a thud like a brick. The 2 men noticed me, and they seemed to be just as shocked as me. They must have thought I wanted to kill the man lying on the ground for some reason. The tank top guy took 1 step towards me. I began to picture how they would force me into the corner, pull a chainsaw out from behind them. Okay, lady, calm down with your chainsaw stuff. And cut me to pieces. Gonna cut me into pieces. This is my last resort. Oh no, I couldn't stay any longer. I'm sorry, Mr. Ren! I screamed suddenly into my head and ran around with my hands covering my face, leaving Mr. Ren there by himself. The next day, Mr. Ren did not come to class. The school put on a message saying he had been badly injured during a robbery and that he was in a coma at the hospital. I can see a tennis ball giving someone a comb if you have in the right spot. That also ultimately reminded the students to be careful on the way back home. It was my fault. I should not have left him alone. There must be a better way. You win. Who knows? Alright, next letter. Alright, what's Jimmy up to? Jimmy! My name is Jimmy. I'm a transfer student. I arrived in Beijing not too long ago. Now I'm Oh, he's a transfer student to Beijing. Of course, anyway, I'm a senior at Yangon High School. The reason I chose this school was because I had a serious girl and a crush on a girl here. Wait, how'd you... You transferred here... Did you live near her and know her before this so that you could follow her around like a creepy stalker? Just a few days ago, I was fortunate enough to be a partner at doubles tennis match on my first day at the school. At first, I was so thankful that I thought the gods had finally smiled upon me. I was totally embarrassed because I never played tennis before. After that happened, I made up my mind. I was determined to improve my tennis skills, just in case I had another chance like this. Sorry, I got caught in my throat a bit. I adjusted the serve speed of the ball machine, walked back to the baseline, raised my racket, and got ready. In order to get better, I bought a season membership at a club. Probably have the money, don't you? I even finished watching all 170 episodes of the Kid of Tennis anime. Did you just say that was all a lie? Like the cake? I had complete faith in myself. I believed I could make it work this time. Shrug emoji? I don't know. The next time I got to play with her, I would show off my kick serve, my pick-up volleys, my drive D. Drive D? That's what I call my... Never mind. Even my zero-style slices to her. She would look at me with admiration. Ha 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 ha! It's him raising some bro moment. The ball machine shot out the ball with a pong. The ball was flying at 140 kilometers per hour. Ah! What a sneaky machine. How dare it serve the ball when I wasn't paying attention? Oh gosh, my wrist really hurts. There goes his J.O. hand. The doctor said I hurt my tendon. I need to rest my right hand for at least a month. Oh, sad boy, doesn't get his alone time. He said I should not even use a mouse, not to mention playing tennis. To tell a kid they can't use a mouse for a while? Torture. No! Doctor, I want to play! My dear God, it's fortunate if you can hear me. Please heal my wrist. If it's necessary, I will even swear off video games for a month as a sacrifice to you. I don't even know how much of this. Please, Jimmy. I don't know why I like Jimmy's little theme music. Okay. In this layer, there's a conflict special restriction, which we talked about before. For instance, these two layers pieces, 140 kilometers per hour and 100 kilometers per hour, are in conflict with each other. So that means they can't be in the same one, right? Yep. I can see by the arrows there. That means they cannot be moved to the same side. If you try to do so, they'll automatically switch places with each other. Both pieces are labeled with a double-headed arrow, which stands for conflict. This one's much easier to understand, isn't it? Huh, don't worry, you'll get used to all these red signs eventually. Okay then, I'll try my best to remember them. You know, sometimes you're actually listening to the story and paying attention to it. I kind of almost forget that the girl and the dog are even there sometimes. I assume their purposes to their story, but is brief. It's like they're probably there at the beginning and at the end, but halfway through, it's all up to us as the player, I bet. Okay, so we've already gotten our bad endings, I assume, for both of these. Or, I don't know, how many endings do we got? Oh, I can't check until I actually do one. Let's just do as is. Okay, so we got... Let's say they both have the same amount. 4. Okay, probably maybe like 3 bad endings and an S rank, maybe? Okay, well anyway. Let's see what we got. Okay, this gust of wind. Maybe if we swap that out, maybe we'll get a better... The gust swept and then hitting it will get us the best result. I'll try to get the S rank first, get that out of the way maybe. Okay, I think that'll work. Let's see what this does for us. 3, 2, 1. Legends of the Hidden Temple. Oh wait, wrong. Before I realized that the ball had hit me right in my forehead. It was so fast. That'd be sure to cause serious damage if it hit someone. It'd be worse if it hit someone in the head. Funny. In any case, I don't remember anything afterwards. They told me that someone else practiced at the court and called an ambulance for me. There are good people in this world, I suppose. Or it must be because I had been such a great person every day. That must be what they call good karma. I assume that's a bad end for him. The ball was thrown off its path by the wind. It fell softly to the ground. Mr. Wind noticed me. So did the 2 rubbers. The tank top guy took 1 step towards me. I began to picture how they would force me into... Oh, okay. So cut me to pieces. My last resort. Okay, stand. Mr. Wind, you can fight them. I screamed silently in my head. I was about to say, don't say that out loud, dude. I screamed silently in my head and ran away with my hands covering my face, leaving Mr. Ren there by himself. And the next day, Mr. Ren came back to school. He didn't seem hurt either. Although I couldn't imagine how he got in the way, I was really happy that everything was okay. However, I didn't have the courage to go back to the art class anymore. Oh, we all got B ranks. Is that enough? Nope, we need better ranks. Okay. I always keep wondering because I bet this is one of those games where it's probably like all or nothing at the ending. It's like either S rank or nothing. So I bet that's what it seems like sometimes anyway. All right. Let's try the other way around. Let's see if she just hits it slower and it'll cause it, and the gust of wind won't bonk the kid on the head. Yeah, that's the ticket. I shudder a little. Before I realized the ball was already right in front of me. I was so startled that I awkwardly blocked the ball with the racket. And I happened to hit the ball. The ball was too quick and it bounced high off in the air. It was a perfect parabola. And then I hit an old man who was practicing nearby. Kind of reminds me of an old 90s like cartoon romp or whatever. It's actually kind of reminds me of Happy Gilmore, you know, where he has the tennis machine and he wants to become a hockey player. Yeah, and he had he's in the ball thing and he was shooting the balls at his chest and he was toughing it out. And so he was done with it. He was talking to this dude. He left, and then a little kid came in and tried to do the same thing to be tough, and he goes, "Oh!" It just falls over. It's pretty funny. He ran me over to be angry and started yelling. I kept bowing and apologizing. I was sounding like a pecking hen. People in the real world are so scary. The ball hit the forehead of the Tainted guy exactly as I wanted. But it bounced off and fell softly to the ground. The guy tumbled and fell to the ground. Before the second man realized what happened, I sprinted towards his back as fast as I could. I smashed his head with my racket with all my strength. Smashed his head in with an racket. Then I grabbed Mr. Ren's hand and ran towards the end of the alley. Wow, it's usually the other way around. It's usually the guy has to like get the girl's hand and run around. So it's funny seeing this teenage girl having this old man, like 35-plus-year-old man, and holding him by the hand and pulling him with her. But I didn't see the first guy yet, or he stood back up. It felt like Mr. Ren had let go of my hand and thrown his entire body into my back. And then I felt him slowly collapse into the ground. They probably stabbed him. I turned around and Mr. Ren was lying on the ground unconscious. There was a pool of blood, and it was getting larger and larger. Mr. Ren had to be hospitalized afterwards. Since he couldn't teach for a long time, he lost his job as well. Ouch. And you almost got him killed, dude. Alright. Is that enough for... Nope. Gotta get that S rank. Gotta get that S rank, baby. Okay, well, it's clearly obvious what we have to do. Just swap it out. And that'll get us this rank. Well, I mean, that's it. That's our only other option. This one's one of the easier ones because you only have 3 choices, you know. I shudder a little. Before I realized the ball was already in front of me. I was so startled that I awkwardly blocked the ball with a racket. I accidentally hit the sweet spot. It felt really great. Wait, had I just hit it? Yes, I had! I just hit an underspin shot. A technique in tennis where the ball is hit by slicing downwards at the contact point, forcing it to have a back spinning rotation. It usually falls slower than a flash shot or a topspin shot. The advantage is the ball will bounce in a backwards direction once it hits the court, which could cause the opponent to whiff if not properly timed. However, backspin is usually too slow, so if the trajectory goes too high, it could also easily go out or get volleyed. An ideal backspin could have very low clearance of the neck to stay low and flat. Experienced players would often sneak in a backspin after a series of topspins or flat shots to disrupt the opponent's rhythm. I totally got everything you just said. No, I sort of understand tennis, but not to that degree. Oh wow, I just learned how to hit an underspin shot. Bonsai! Bonsai! I jumped up and down with excitement. People nearby were shooting me admiring strange looks. What does bonsai mean? Was he hurt? No, bonsai is Japanese phrase. It means hurrah. Although, based on my observation, lots of people outside Japan use this as well. Well, you know, other cultures kind of seep in certain dialogue choice or whatever. I'll admit there's certain Japanese or French terms or other terms I throw into my dialogue without realizing it from either cartoons or anime or whatever. They're from many different countries. Most of them are men. Oh, and they share another common characteristic. What is that? They're all single. Single? What's wrong with being single? Hell yeah, girl. What's wrong with being single? Everything. Being single hurts. Huh. In the end, bonsai still means hurt, right? See, bonsai means being single, and being single means it hurts. It's very straightforward. I think I'm single too. Bonsai. There's nothing wrong with being by yourself and single, folks. I'm not saying that just because I'm by my alone and single. No, I actually don't. I've talked about this before. I don't really care about that type of stuff, so. The ball hit the forehead of the takeout guy exactly as I planned. He fell down to the ground with a thud like a brick. Before the second man realized what happened, I sprinted towards his back as fast as I could. I smashed his head with my racket with all my strength. Then I grabbed Mr. Ren's hand and ran towards the end of the alley. 10 minutes later, I was panting heavily and realized I'd already run all the way back to my apartment building. Oh, and I was still holding Mr. Ren's hands. Ooh la la. Mr. Ren, excuse me. This is where I live. I quickly let go of his hand. Well, I might as well do a home visit then. Or, might as well do a home visit then, shall we? Home visit for a senior by an art teacher. Mr. Ren, actually, there is no one else home. I went in front of him and explained. Do your parents always work late? Mr. Ren looked up at me while climbing the stairs. The sunlight coming through the window in the hallway was making him squint. No, I live alone. I stepped in front of room 415, but Mr. Ren didn't follow me. He stopped in front of room 414. He pointed to the door next to him with a thumb and smiled. I suddenly remembered. The first day after I moved in, the manager, Uncle San, told me that a very famous artist from abroad had been living in the apartment next door. So that was him. We had actually met each other before. Life is weird, or writing is coincidental. And that's it, and there's no new posts. What am I missing then? Did I get everything? Okay. That's interesting. I should have a new post by now because I did everything, right? Well, that's not good. Okay. Well, we're already late as it is, so I'll figure out what our next step is. So, in the next and we found out that Wen and Lee are in the same apartment. So, in the next episode of Will, A Wonderful World, I'll figure out what to do next and where our story takes us on this journey between these multiple people. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.